Republican Party.
He appeals to angry people. I'll tell you, there are things he said that appealed to me. A lot of his attacks on the establishment, attacks against money in politics. I really like to hear that. He supports universal health care.
Look, I agree with both of you.
This is a guy who had some good points.
I just wanted to hear more serious talk. When you wrap up a 2-hour debate, I wanted you to hit a home run.
He's not a serious
Morris. You're right, Morris. I think you're right on the money. You ask exactly the right question, and you're right about that. The only issue is, again, when do you turn off the electricity? At some point, if Trump wants the nomination, if he wants to be president, he's going to have to be that subtle, serious, sophisticated, specific
that's never happened,
guy.
Jack.
Well,
but
the time to turn it off was the end of the debate. All right, while the debate touched on illegal immigration and the economy, candidates also expressed their views on social issues.
I just went to a wedding of a friend of mine who happens to be gay. Because somebody doesn't think the way I do, doesn't mean that I can't care about them or I can't love them. So if one of my daughters happened to be that, of course I would love them and I would accept them.
Many applauded John Kasich's remarks, saying he struck a chord with young Republicans who increasingly support same-sex marriage. Mark, what do you make of his comments? Did he strike the right tone?
I think so. I actually think John Kasich was the clear winner of last night's debate. He seemed to be the only adult on the stage, the only one talking about actual compassion and talking about the fiscally conservative aspects of compassion, that when you treat people fairly, it actually saves money. It's fascinating how far the Republican Party has changed on same-sex marriage. Just 4 years ago, they were booing a gay service member, a gay soldier who'd served his country. They were booing him on stage. Now they support same-sex marriage. I think John Kasich is reaching out to the people who actually care about it.
You're right. Kasich did very well among prospective Democratic voters. The problem is he's involved in a Republican primary. Kasich actually started good and he closed very poorly. By praising Donald Trump as the number 10 man, you win strategically when you praise the front runner because he's not yet competing with a front runner. It was a very smart move, but the business of getting into the gay issue, he should never have done that. Being
what do you mean he should never have done that? Are you saying he should have shunned his daughter?
It's not that.
That's not going to win votes in the Republican Party.
You have to understand, I'm not talking substance, I'm talking politics. When you get into politics...
I'm talking politics too. What I'm telling you is this issue is past.
Evangelicals in Iowa and South Carolina don't want to hear that. Politically, it was not smart.
All right, another hot topic was Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton and the controversy surrounding her campaign.
For the cyber attack with Russia the other day, it's sad to think right now, but probably the Russian and Chinese government know more about Hillary Clinton's email server than do the members of the United States Congress.
Got to admit, that was pretty good. Other candidates continued to pounce on Hillary's honesty problem and her affiliation with President Obama. But, Mark, did any Republicans stand out as someone who could take on Hillary in a general election?
I didn't think so. I thought the likely Republican nominee, who I still insist is Jeb Bush, came off as basically boring and uninteresting, mostly because they didn't ask him any tough questions like they asked the other candidates. I don't think any of them showed they could take Hillary Clinton toe-to-toe. There were a few cheap shots, a few cheap lines. But we had Chris Christie being criticized for having asked Obama for aid for New Jersey. I mean, really cheap stuff. I want to see substance. Why don't they go after her policies? I think because they know her policies are popular.
Jack, maybe if you ran for president.
I haven't announced yet, Morris. I think Rand Paul and Chris Christie definitely improved their status. I look for both of them to move up. I think with that exchange, both men move up in the polls. I think Trump was a clear winner. I actually disagree with the majority of the commentariat on this. I think Rubio was a loser. I think Rubio, although he did so well, he speaks so well, he's almost a perfect guy. He looks too young, and he's too much unduly earnest. Rubio just doesn't have that wit. He doesn't have that charm, and I think you need that to be president.
I thought he brought some gravitas. What do you think, Mark?
Well,
I kind of liked Rubio.
This is one issue where I agree with Jack. Actually, that's exactly the word I used before the show. He's very earnest. I liked Rubio. I thought he actually came off very well. I disagree with a lot of what he has to say. But in a country where